Hello, everybody. We welcome you back to the Elias Catholic Stater Sports Recap podcast presented by the Elias Catholic Yearbook Class. Today is Sunday, March 16th at 7 o'clock. And for the final Sunday this winter sports season, we talk a little bit of men's basketball with Charlie Blanton.
Austin Stater Sports Recap, thank you for having me. This is going to be a very, very good episode. Obviously wasn't looking forward to it this early, but still was. Always enjoyable to get on here and talk to you about basketball. So one more time, let's do it. Let's have some fun with it.
Yeah, let's have some fun. I never would have thought from when we first did an interview over the phone to that it would turn into this.
I know.
And it was an awesome couple months we did this. I wish we would have started a little bit earlier in the season. For some reason, I didn't think to have you on, and I'm glad that I decided to get you on this podcast. As you've been a great contributor to it, and you will continue to be for the spring sports season coming.
Looking forward to that. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna have a lot more fun this year.
So, a little outline of this episode: we are going to, of course, give our thoughts about the men's basketball team's final game of the season against Parkview. And then we're going to go through the season, and we're just going to kind of recap it for you guys in a condensed version to give you guys the positives, the negatives, and all the in-between. And we'll jump into the Parkview game. Despite the game itself, the best atmosphere the Crusaders have probably played in all year. It's up there with Rolla, which that was the previous game we played in, and Quincy as well.
Yeah, it was an awesome atmosphere. The students, I can't thank you enough for showing up. That was the best student section I've ever heard. I would take that one over Rolla or any other one any day of the week. You guys were loud, rowdy. You really helped us out there. We just didn't have our best basketball game ever that day, and Parkview did.
Yeah. I was in the student section, controlling the music, and it was loud.
Yeah.
When Joey would get down after a turnover and he'd say, "Which way?" "That way." And then this whole student section yelled it. That was the loudest student section I've ever been a part of. And that's talking for football as well.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. After the national anthem, when, at the end of the Staters, and they do that, Sean Hart looked at me and he goes, "Wow." And I was like, yeah, no, that one, my stomach dropped when I heard that one. So I was like, here we go.
And there wasn't even enough room for all the freshmen. They had to stand on the patio back where we set up for the Live for Life game and did the podcast there. So there was all the students couldn't even fit in the student section. There were some seniors and stuff over to the left into the other sections of the bleachers as well. But the game got off to a very great start. A 7-0 run put together by Elias Catholic. And within that 7-0 run, Sam Lopez hit a three-pointer. That must have been felt pretty good for him.
Yeah. He got up. He was he hit it. He hit his little spin. He danced around a little bit. Mm-hmm. Bench was going crazy. Everybody was yelling. And then we got the layup. Was it 2 layups by Logan?
Maybe. I don't quite remember. I was so excited. And
2 layups by Logan, I think it was. Yeah, and then 3 turnovers by them to get that going. And I was like, we actually have a really good chance of winning this game. And I thought we had a really good chance to win the game before the game too, but,
Without a doubt. Timeout Parkview, 7-0. And then here comes the Vikings. They tie it back up 7-7. And from that point on, they just shot lights out.
Yeah, I mean, teams have those kind of games. I think Sean Hart said they shot 70%. I mean, you can't really do much against that.
I believe they shot 70% total for the game, and I think they only missed 2 shots or 3 shots or something like that in the first half. It was truly remarkable, and it really does suck that Parkview probably played their best game of the season against us that night.
Yep, they did. They definitely did.
And number 4 for Parkview, I don't know his name. I don't have the stats on me. Not really worried about the stats from this one. He hit a 3 in the student section's face. That was a part of that 7-0 run. They had to bounce back, and he turned towards the student section, hit one of these on us, covered his mouth. And, Greg Gresham let them know it when they came
No,
back
oh, I
down the
bet he
court.
did. Great, yeah, I can only imagine what he was saying after that. I saw him over there a few times that night, kind of having some fun. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the Crusaders went to the halftime down what? Or leading, or was it tied? I
No,
don't quite
we
remember.
were down. I think we were down by maybe 6, 5 or 6. I think it was like 18-24, 18-25, something like that.
And Parkview just continued to shoot lights out. As that was really the story of the game. We didn't really shoot the best. They made almost all their shots, and when you have that going for you by yourself, you're going to win the
Yeah.
game.
Well, I talked to my dad about this, and he agreed with me. I don't know if you felt like this, but after that 7-0 run, it just kind of felt like we were never in the game. Like something just felt like off. It didn't feel like it did when we were losing to Rala. It didn't feel like it did when we were losing to JC. It felt like the energy had just been taken completely out of us, and it was all over on Parkview's side because it just felt weird. And everybody and most people I've talked to have agreed with me. It just didn't feel like normal Elias basketball this year. There was something off, and we were just a little off that night. So I guess that is exactly what it was.
I did get that feeling, but for me it really wasn't until the third quarter when we
Yeah.
just couldn't make a shot. Another
Yeah.
thing that really stood out to me about that game was I talked about you with this with about this post game. Sam Lopez shot the most threes he had in the game all season long. And I
Yeah.
think that contributed to Alex Schonhart. When I talked about when we always say Schonhart's on a leash and he always is. The leash was about that much.
Yeah. No, he was stealing all of Sean Hart's oxygen. He couldn't even breathe. That dude.
Yeah.
I had talked to Sean Hart earlier in the day.
Carlito
Yeah.
Sanchez was the
Yeah.
defender on Parkview. But anyway,
No, I had talked to Sean Hart earlier that day. He asked me, he said, "You think I'm gonna be on a leash tonight?" And I said, "Not really." I said, "I thought they would. I thought he'd be on a little bit of one just because of film, but they hadn't seen him like JC and Rala have this year. So, and JC and Rala had him on less than a leash than that guy did. He comes out there and he's just right up in Sean Hart's grill, not letting him move, not letting him do anything. And Sean Hart normally can shake that off, but like I said, we just couldn't get it going that night.
and when you get into the higher levels like Sean Hart will eventually be going into next year, you're also going to have bigger players and stronger players. Maybe not stronger than Wood, but just bigger players that you can kind of work off ball around to get open. And Elias really didn't offer that much because yes, we had Wood, but Wood was one of our main sources of offense, so he didn't have time to go set off ball screens for
Yeah.
Alex. Same for Logan Hillman. And that's why I feel like when Sean Hart is on a leash, he can't do anything because we don't have like a glue guy, you might say, to set screens for him and to get him open off the ball.
Yeah. Well, also they knew what we were gonna do. I don't know if you heard Sam say this, but we have a play called Jayhawk, and at one point Sam called out Jayhawk, and Carlito Sanchez turned around and started pointing all of his dudes where to go and said, "Watch the ball screen." Like
So
they
they
knew our
watched their
plays
film.
better. They knew our plays better than we did. They had probably been running them all week, so they were ready for everything, and we couldn't get open because of it.
So I wonder how they knew it was Jayhawk because you can't hear that on Huddle. You can't hear him call out the plays.
I don't know. I don't know.
Do you think it was where the Crusader offensive players were just formulated on offense
Yeah.
to begin that play?
Well, here's what I don't know. What
And if
Sam
so, that's
said,
if
or
that's
it was somebody. Maybe it wasn't Sam. Somebody said that, but he turned around and he yelled out Jayhawk, like right after Sam called it and said, "Watch the ball screen." So I don't know. I don't know how they knew. Um, Maybe earlier in the year when we played them, they used some of that to their advantage, but we added a lot more since then. I don't know how they knew, but they knew somehow or another. So, and they used it to their advantage because we couldn't get anything going.
and if so, if they remember that from the beginning of the year, props to Parkview because that just shows how much they wanted to
Yeah.
win this game and to get back to state for the first time since it wasn't. No, I'm thinking of '81, but I feel like that wasn't right. I think I'm thinking of another high school. But Coach Joe said it in his post game talk. This is a team that got knocked out of districts last year, and then the year
This
before that
no,
something happened.
The year before that, they lost in the district championship. Last year, they lost in the game that we played them in, the game to go to the Final Four. They lost to JC. So they were going in there kind of like we were. JC knocked us out last year, and we were going in. We wanted to destroy them. They didn't want to feel like they did last year again. They wanted to make sure that they won that game, and they got it done.
And they did. I think we created a little bit of a better atmosphere than that was at Rolla, and they still
Yeah.
came out and they really just punished us from the 3-point line, mid range, inside, and on free throws. The
Yeah.
fourth quarter was pretty demoralizing. They were flying down the court, cherry picking, getting dunks, hitting threes,
Yeah.
and Elias loses the ball game, 63-50. I think.
Yep.
Yep, 63-50.
Here's the
Yeah,
thing.
and that's where the winning streak comes to an end at 13 games.
We were only down at the end of that third quarter by what was it, 5 points? At the end of the
I
third
don't
quarter,
quite yeah,
do what?
I don't quite remember the score, but
I think it was 46-41 at the end of the third quarter. We were right there, and I remember like looking back at it now, we were still really in that game. It was just a 3 and a 2, but at the time I was like, I just don't know if we got what it takes. And then we came out and we couldn't hit anything. It's like earlier games this year, like against JC and Rolla last week. We didn't have the greatest first quarter. We didn't have the greatest second quarter again, unless we played Rolla. We had a really good second quarter, but we really kind of came alive in that fourth quarter. What I think it was the other games we had. The first quarter we were not good. Second and third quarter we were average, and then fourth quarter we really turned it up and started playing well. And I think that's what happened in this game too. First quarter we didn't play good. I wouldn't say we played bad in the first quarter. I think we were average in the first quarter, so we'll give them that. Second and third were both average. We hung with them, and in the fourth we didn't turn it up like we normally do. We just we almost like simmered down. We turned it down. We didn't turn it up. We went backwards. We lost our footing, and we just couldn't make anything. And that's what happens. Good teams win down the stretch, and I'm not saying we're not a good team, but Parkview was the better team that day.
yeah, being a part of this team and following it and reporting it the whole entire year, the students in the student section were worried, and this was in the first half. I was like, hey, this is a second half team. They're going
Yeah,
to come out and play much better in the
I
second
thought so
half.
too. I thought so too, but
And it just never clicked.
yeah,
And you mentioned Parkview was up 46-41 going into the fourth quarter,
yeah,
and very similar to the Jeff City game in this instance where Elias would cut it down to 5 points, make it a 2 possession game, maybe 3 points, 4 points, and then Parkview would go on like a 4-0, 5-0 run, and then that would
yeah,
be gone, and it just go back and forth until Elias just couldn't keep up anymore.
yeah,
A very nice 3-point shot by Weaver to kind of close the game, and
yeah.
yeah, just too little, too late. Because I felt like we had a little bit of offense in that final minute of the game. I don't know
We
if
did.
Parkview was just
They did.
conceding.
They kind of
Yep.
just They kind
But
of
our
really.
offense kind of sparked, but too little, too late, and
Yeah.
Elias loses 63-50. They drop to 20-10 on the season. So nice 30-game season for them. Last year, just because I'm curious, the Crusaders played only 28 games. So they played 2 more this year than they did last year.
I would say, yeah, because we lost to JC in districts. So wait, that would have given us one more game. I don't know where
We
the
probably
other one
lost.
came from.
We probably lost in like a second round of a tournament or something, and
Yeah,
didn't get to go all the way
I'd
through.
say you're probably
Somewhere around
right.
that.
Yeah.
And that does it for Crusader men's basketball. The 2024-2025 season concludes. And not being a player, and I was only part of this team for 1 year, even though everybody on the team made me feel like I was a part of the team for 4 years, like you were. That locker room, nobody cried. I mean, you shed a tear.
I did.
Coach Joe was trying not to let it go. He kept on pausing and stuff, but
That's
it
what
was very emotional in the locker room post game.
when he I was trying to hold it together. I let it go there for a minute. I pulled it together, and then Coach Joe started crying when he started talking about me and what I did for the program, and that's when I really couldn't keep it together. I lost it there, and then I pulled it back together, and then I really lost it when I saw my mom. Um,
Post
got
game?
the Yeah, post
Yeah.
game standing out there. That was a rough moment, but it happens when you people don't realize, like, do I do that much? No, I keep stats, right? I do clock, whatever. But the time that you spend with those guys, like, I've spent so much time since I was little. I mean, in second grade, Jaden Rothweiler moved to St. Joe, and we were best friends, and so I would always spend time over at Coach Joe's house with Jaden, and he'd take us to the pool or to the gym or whatever we needed to do. I was in all of his basketball programs. Then we get to high school, and he kind of kept an eye out for me. He kind of made sure I was doing okay. He helped me out. I had some I don't want to say bad blood, but I had some issues with some people in the program who won't say names. He kind of helped me through that, and I'm good with everybody in the program now that died. Um, but, you know, it's like I grew up with Coach Joe. I kind of grew up with Coach Joe looking over my shoulder, and now it's kind of like it's over. Like, I'm not gonna see him every day. I'm not gonna see those guys every day. Like, every day we go to practice and we hang out with them and we shoot free throw contests, run the
A
clock, whatever.
stupid free throw contest. Why
Yeah,
would I ever bring that up with you?
I
I
had to
lost
bring it
the
up.
I lost the series, by the way, for the listeners, 13-3. I was in it at the beginning though. It was only two to
Yeah, you
one,
were,
maybe.
and then I won like 8 in a row.
I think you won 11. Oh yeah, probably 8 in a row. Yeah.
Yeah, but anyways, kind of just spending all your time with those guys for years on years, since I was little. It really is tough to kind of say goodbye and know that everything's coming to a close.
Yeah, you mentioned connections and just I didn't go to all the practices after school. I would say I was probably at 65, 70% of them, just under three quarters. And seeing everybody at practice and everybody would get up or get there and just shoot around and guarding Sean Hart in the warm-ups before practice, and he's telling me to step up, and I would, and he'd still miss it, and because I have lockdown
Yeah.
defense.
Um,
But that's what it's all about, those connections, and that's what you're going to remember. Coach Joe said you're not going to remember this loss. You're not going to remember a bad game you had. You're going to remember all the fun times. And boy, was there a lot of them this year.
it's kind of goes back to what I was saying, like the connections that you don't have anymore. Like, I mean, when we like the messing around in the locker room, the laughter, all that, the hotel visits. Um, it's just trying not to get emotional over here talking about this.
Yeah, dude,
No, it's all the moments that you remember, but it stings because it's over. But you know what they say: don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened, and that's something. It hurts right now, but here in a couple weeks, we're gonna look back and we're gonna have a lot of memories to laugh at, and that's what I'll be grateful for.
yeah. I've been a part of now two programs that have not made it all the way, not made it to the goal that they had. And soccer in the fall sports season, boy, was that just a demoralizing loss to Borgia because that team wanted a district championship so bad. And now basketball, uh, it
In a game
stings,
we
you
should have
know?
won. In a game we should have won. That's what I think also hurts. It's like going
Same
into
thing for
that game,
soccer.
I don't think there was a doubt in my mind that we would win that game. I thought that if we beat Rolla, I thought there was no way we would lose that game. But you know what? Teams have
That's what
days.
I don't know. I don't want to say this is one of the things that hurt us, but everybody going into that game said that we're going to win.
I thought we were
And
too. Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, me and Charlie both fell victim into that.
Yeah.
So you got the whole team pretty much, besides the coaches, saying that, yeah, we're going to win this ball game, blah, blah, blah. We get to go to state and zoo. And then it's just,
Yeah.
we didn't make shots. That's really all it came down to. I thought we possessed the ball fine. Like, yeah, we had a couple turnovers. We were getting out rebounded really badly But it really all came down in that game to just us not making shots, and they made more than us.
Their defense was also insane. They had unbelievable defense as well.
That's
So
what I
you
heard.
gotta give some of it to that.
So yeah, Coach Joe sent his thoughts to, or sent his let his coaches, the assistant coaches, say anything. So Coach Bell and Coach Bax gave some good words, and we all gave each other hugs
Yeah,
and thank each other. Everybody thanked the seniors, and
yeah.
that was how the night concluded. And until we went to me and Alex, we went to Buffalo Wild Wings. No meat was consumed, and no 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 meat was consumed. Coach Eddie was there. He had a couple alcoholic beverages, and Don Hart and I were there, and we were just laughing about not only this basketball season, the fun moments, but also some stuff in the classroom as well. Shout out Miss Brimmer, and I know she'll be listening to this one. So
Also,
Miss
Sailor
Brimmer,
Sports recap. Austin forgot to mention I was also there, so it's
yes,
not
Charlie
like
was
they were
there as
just
well.
hanging out with my dad and I was just not there.
Yeah, no, Charlie was there as well. I do. I know Miss Brimmer's listening to this. Miss Brimmer, I know we mess around a lot in class and we laugh way too much, and I think that's going to be coming to an end soon here.
Yeah, I'm on my way to Thailand. Nope.
Yeah, I'm on my way to Serbia. And really though, Miss Brimmer, we appreciate you listening to these, and hopefully we were able to give you a greater look into the Crusader men's basketball program, and provide some insight for you. And as I want to be a future broadcaster in the future, you realize that you don't do it for the amount of listeners and viewers you get. You do it for the people that tune in every single time, like Miss Brimmer and like Logan Hillman, who also listens to these all the time. Um,
Really?
yeah, he's an avid listener. That's what Joey Jones told me. So I do it for you guys, and it
Yeah.
doesn't really matter the viewer consumption that we get. It's for the entertainment for the people that do listen consistently, and hopefully we were able to provide that for you this men's basketball season with the Charlie Blanton interview.
It's always fun. Also, I do it for my entertainment as well. Like I enjoy just getting on here and talking. And
Yeah.
yeah, going back to the Miss Brimmer thing, we do laugh a lot. We try to, hold it in sometimes, and that kind of makes it come out more. But um, we wouldn't have. I wouldn't even be in that class if I didn't enjoy your class, Miss Brimmer. I would be somewhere else. I didn't have to take math. We talked about that, but I decided to anyways. Because I do love the people in that class, and I love Miss Brimmer teaching it as well. I wouldn't have it any other way. So thank you, Miss Brimmer. Back to you, Austin. I guess.
Yeah, before we make this the Sue or Miss Brimmer recap,
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
we're gonna we're going to swing it back to basketball, but yeah, it hurts. It hurts. But Coach Joe said the sun will rise, or maybe it was Coach Bell said
That's
that the
good
sun
stuff.
will rise the next day, and it certainly has. Now I ask you this, Charlie, because I did want to get into our season recap, but this talk kind of went really long, so I'm probably going to make two parts out of our interview tonight.
Okay.
I do want to ask you a couple questions here. What are you doing now since basketball season is over? What's your agenda really for this next week and for the rest of the weeks this school year?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm gonna dive in head first to baseball season. I'm gonna go help out Coach Fick, and see what I can do for that team. I gotta go. I gotta go talk to him because I really kind of am walking into the dark here because I don't really know how to manage baseball. I know how to manage basketball because I did it last year. I don't know what I'm going to be doing this year. I don't really know where exactly the practices are at. I think are they at Legion maybe?
Yep, they
I'm
are.
gonna have to
Trust me.
get.
My freshman year I got cut, and they were at Legion. So
Okay. Well, glad you got cut for that reason, Austin. So now I know where practice
yeah,
is at.
uh-huh.
Just kidding,
That's why
obviously,
I did
but
it. I got cut for that reason, so I could tell you. Anyway,
no, I gotta go to Coach Fick. I gotta talk to him. I gotta get in the group me. I gotta figure out what I need to pay for like food on trips or whatever. Just kind of get the overall rundown on what I'm gonna be doing. I'm sure I'll get how do I even want to say this acclimated,
yeah, you'll
um,
get acclimated, acquainted.
comfortable in the transition. I'm excited. It's gonna be fun.
you're gonna be right along with your brother. Does your dad
Yep.
help out with baseball?
He does not. My dad is not. The days of me sitting on the bench with Eddie Blanton are over, unfortunately.
You still
That
got Bo
definitely
for
hurt.
one more season then.
He's got Bo for 2 more seasons, actually. But
Yep. Well, it's
so
baseball with you this season.
yeah. So no, I
You'll
got
you'll
I got
still
Bo.
you'll
Yeah,
still be with Braden Means as well. And I think
love you,
that's it for the
means.
basketball team, right? There's Jace Kirshner as well.
Jace will be there. Brian will be there. I'm sure Brian will sit
Oh,
on the bench with his boot and eat his
oh,
seeds.
he will definitely have sunflower seeds for those games.
Yeah, he will. That'll be fun. We're gonna enjoy those times. And I got some other buddies that are out there as well that I'll get to do their sport with them now. So I'm grateful that I get to do that now.
Yep. So they kick off their season the 21st. Sayers Sports recap, pending what the ladies team does and when that game is set to kick off for the state championship possibly. The Sayers Sports recappers, myself, Joey, and Baker, plan to go out and set up for that first baseball game against the Marquette Mustangs at home, March 21st. And Charlie will be there as well.
Yep.
In terms of speaking for where this interview will go, of course, I was also a manager on the basketball team. I am not a baseball manager with Coach Fick because that conflicts with lady soccer announcing. So that's what I'll be going into this spring sports season, along with the podcast. So really, this is now going to be sort of, yes, it's going to be conversational still, but it's going to be more questions towards Charlie because he's going to know the most about this team
Yeah.
out of anybody at Elias Catholic besides the players, of course, and the coaches. Yeah. I would love to get Coach Fick on a Zoom call. We could definitely make that happen.
Yeah.
He's somebody that is very knowledgeable in the sport, and of course, we were both former students of his last year in American history.
Love that class.
And I still want to get. We had Coach Wiggins on. Congratulations to you, my friend, on 100 career wins.
Awesome. Congratulations, Coach Wiggins. Go win you a state chip, baby.
Yeah, after the starting five yesterday, I was walking back over to the student section and I played "Separate Ways" by I think Journey. You know that song? You know that one? Yeah. And he was like, "Man, I love this song," and I was like, "Hey, go get him, coach. Go get a win." And they did that. But before I keep on yapping, I do want to get Coach Joe on the podcast as well. We had Coach Wiggins. I would love to get Coach Joe's thoughts as well on the boys basketball season. Maybe
awesome.
This week. I don't feel like this week would be a fun time to have him on, or maybe next week.
Yeah.
Just for a quick 20-minute interview, probably during flex time on a Wednesday. I would love to get Coach Joe on.
Yeah.
And just get his thoughts on the season.
Yeah.
And yeah. So that does it. That is the I guess the final. We're gonna make this a 2-part interview, as now we're just gonna recap the season and go over the highs and lows. That'll be in episode 27, part 2. But for the main Charlie Blanton interview, where we recap the last game, that does it.
Well, real quick, I just want to say a couple thank yous.
Yes.
You know, obviously to the fans that have supported us all year long, traveled with us, showed up to the big games. Thank you. And the guys will say thank you as well. It meant so much to see you guys up there in the stands. We appreciate that. To the sponsors of Elias that made everything possible for us this year. Thank you
so
for that.
So much money was raised. So much money was raised for the team.
To all the players, you know, it's been an unbelievable ride. I'm going to cherish it for the rest of my life. I'm very appreciative for you guys letting me hang out with you guys every day at practice. You know, do my thing over at the scores table. Take my stats, sit on your bench, whatever. To Coach Bell for, C team basketball 2 years ago. We had a lot of fun. You made me a player. I was able to play. If it weren't for your team, I wouldn't have been able to play because I know that I wasn't playing for Coach Bax on JV because I was not very good. Just kidding. We never know. I got in a couple times. But anyways, thank you, Coach Bell. Coach Bax. I know Coach Bax is a listener to this. Coach Bax listens all the time.
To the Charlie Blanton interviews.
Yeah, he said he
He
listened. He
does?
was
Awesome.
he always gives me crap because I said one time, I said our team isn't the biggest team ever. And he always gives me crap about that. He's like, "You said we're small. Why don't you this and this?" I was like, "Yeah." Well, Coach Bax, I've been around you with basketball since like 8th grade. With the Knights team. I wasn't on the Knights team, but I was still around. And then you were here in my sophomore year. Yeah, you're my sophomore year. I got to sit on your bench. Thank you, Coach Bags, for allowing me to put a smile on your face. Allowing me to hang out with you at practice, sit by you at the table, talk some football while you eat your cheese stick and orange every day at practice. And then just thank you for being good to me. My dad, Eddie Blanton. Thank you for everything for all these years since about 5th grade, along with Coach Joe that year. St. Joe basketball, he was my coach, and my coach before that, Y teams, whatever. All those years of being on the bench with him, and then last year and this year on the high school team, along with my brother Bo. Thanks for that, Dad. I'm appreciative, and I'll always be appreciative of you giving me that opportunity. And to Coach Joe, last person to discuss on the table. Actually, I got one more after this, but to Coach Joe, you've always looked out for me. You've always been there for me. You gave me a chance to believe in myself when nobody else did, or a lot of other people didn't. Even me, I didn't always believe in myself, but you did. You always told me, even if I didn't want to play, I'd always have a seat on your bench. My family is always going to be so grateful for you and so appreciative of you. Thank you for everything you've done for us. And next time, I'll be around. I'll be sitting behind the bench in some games. I'll have my clipboard out. I'll be keeping your kills and your boosts or whatever. So thank you, Coach Joe. I'm always grateful for everything you've done for me. Last but not least, Mr. Austin Wolken, my good buddy. Thank you, man, for always, you get me on the podcast. You sit down at the scores table with me. We keep our stats. We do all this. We have some good, funny conversations, not only at the table but in math class as well. It's been an unbelievable time, and this is something I'm gonna be grateful for the rest of my life. So thank you, Austin, for that.
That was very well said, Charlie.
Thank you.
Shout out to all those people. I'm going to harp on everything you just said. I do want to also thank the fans for all they did, and Joey Jones. I did not tell him. I mean, I told him to go to a couple games, obviously. He went to almost every all of your guys' ball games.
Yeah.
From Hickman to Rolla.
Yeah.
Shout out Joey Jones, because that was not me. That was not me making him go. He went willfully. And that's awesome. And Joey Jones, major props to you, dude. If it wasn't for work, I would have been there at every single one as well.
Yeah.
And I also want to thank the players as well for me. I joined the team. I didn't know what the heck. I didn't know any of the coaches. Yeah. I never had Coach Bell as a student. I've never talked to Coach Bax before, even though I'm good friends with the teacher, Coach Bax. And I never talked to Coach Joe before, never had him with teachers. And they welcomed me in, and being able to sit at practice every day and do those stupid free throw contests. Gosh, darn it. Yeah, it was awesome. It was fabulous. And for all the players, I just hope that I was able to produce enough content and capture everybody's highlights and just throughout the season that when you're 30 years old, you can go back to the good old Sayer Sports Recap Instagram account and go jog through those, from the gas station runs to the Quincy Notre Dame game to the Live for Life podcast episode where we did everything and all the in between. I was so happy to do it, and
you did a great job, Austin. Did a great job with the content. The players, they're grateful.
Everybody told me they were appreciative, and it was awesome. And last question here before we end it for you. Do you continue managing into college?
And so actually, I'm not totally against it. if I get the opportunity,
Because I'm sure Coach Joe could put in a hell of a word for you.
I think he could as well. Yeah, I think he could. And if the opportunity arises, and I do get a chance to do that, I definitely will take that opportunity. I'm not gonna go in there on my first day of college and be running around. Where's the coach? Where's the coach? I gotta get my spot on the team before somebody else takes it. I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna enjoy college a little bit. And if I hear like basketball team needs a manager, basketball team needs this, basketball team needs that, I'm sure I could give Coach Joe a call and he can put in a good word, and I could go talk to Coach at Missouri State, and we could probably work something out.
Kunzo.
Oh, yeah, that was the old Mizzou guy.
Yeah, so that's why Des White went there, who now is back in the transfer portal. You gotta love the age of college athletics. And that's where we will wrap it off. The final men's basketball interview with Charlie Blanton. We're gonna do a season recap here next, but we're gonna cut episode 27, part 1 off here. Thank you all very much for listening. For my man, all basketball season long, Charlie Blanton.
Baylor Sports Recap. I already said it, but I will say it again. Thank you so much for listening all season long. It's been such an honor to be able to do this. We love you guys. We love doing this for you guys. So tune into baseball season because it's gonna be fun as well.
A new age is dawn. My name is Austin Wilkin, saying to have a fantastic 5-day school week, and remember to keep your stick on the ice.
Oh wait, hold on. We gotta do the last basketball shot of the year. How could I forget that? You ready? Here we go. I haven't made this one yet. Uh-oh. Hey!
No way! Dude, it slid down too and rolled around. That's awesome. That's where we will send it off.
Final episode of the year, and I finally made it. So perfect way.
Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you.
This has been episode 27, part 1. Talk to you guys. All right.
I'm gonna buy everything, baby.